What's up? Nowstalgia pod coming at you. This is our 68th episode, Dave.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Haven't missed a week.
I know, kind of crazy.
Actually, it was actually extra episodes because of our end of year.
We did miss one week.
We made up for it because we had like 4
Right. Yeah, we had like, I think, 3 for that end of year?
Best of TV, best movies, and best music.
Right.
So 3.
Which
so we're up 2.
I was not smart last year, did not think ahead, so I was like scrambling to put that list together. The list is steadily growing as I listen to more albums, watch more shows. There's a lot of culture.
TV's insane already.
TV, I'm so far behind on. Some shows I'm giving up. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to catch up on, what's the David Lynch one?
Twin Peaks?
Yeah, Twin Peaks.
See, I thought that, but Twin Peaks goes till August.
Dude, but in August, isn't that... Well, I guess August is a lull.
I told you about this
That's
summer,
right.
You know? Thrones, and if you want to watch Preacher.
So maybe. Well, we should watch Preacher. I hear a lot of good things about that. But we got a lot to talk about this week. We're going to be talking some box office results, some music that came out, some music that will be coming out, our thoughts on that. Let's start, though, with Black Panther trailer. So we recorded a pre-recorded pod to look over some of the albums of the summer that we had missed, so we weren't able to talk about the Black Panther trailer, which dropped during the NBA Finals last Monday.
Yes, it did.
And, whew, man, what a trailer.
It basically has every black actor that's not Will Smith and Denzel.
Or Mahershala Ali, basically.
Yeah, everyone who's hot basically is in it.
Right. Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, David Kaluuya, which I didn't even know he was. Daniel Kaluuya, yeah,
and
sorry.
Denai Guerra, shown with The Walking Dead, among other things.
Forrest Whitaker, Angela Bassett.
Yeah, crazy.
And then it also has 2 awesome white actors, Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis. So, I mean, looks stacked, man.
Reprising their roles from Age of Ultron.
So what did you take away from the trailer? Anything that stood out to you? Anything that you felt was exciting or that you didn't know about?
I mean, it just, stuff that it's still a teaser, so we just saw some cool action stuff and all those actors and whatnot. But, that swoop-in scene when Legend Has It by Run the Jewels comes on, and you see Wakanda and all its technological glory.
Yep.
It's just really cool. And again, I just think, can't believe we're here. Marvel's doing so good that there's a Black Panther solo movie coming out in February.
And it looks dope.
Yep.
Run the Jewels in the background for that trailer. Amazing.
That's Ryan Coogler right there.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that stood out to me was just, even from those shots, just the way it was shot looks vibrant and beautiful and looks really dope.
Which is cool, too, because we were saying how much we liked the Thor 3 trailer. And Guardians 2 has a unique flair to it, too, so... It's nice, and Justice League or Wonder Woman as well. So it's a nice theme recently.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, seeing Michael B. Jordan be in a villain type role, really awesome.
Killmonger.
I think he's going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
so really pumped for that. So this weekend, box office, Pixar, Cars 3 came out, and it won the weekend, $53 million.
Lowest of the 3 Cars films.
Which, not surprising.
Yeah.
I think it's losing a bit of its steam at this point.
The franchise, just like Lightning McQueen, is washed up.
Wow. Did you write that one down?
No.
Wow. Good for you. So, Wonder Woman.
Just like Owen Wilson, too, the lead.
Yeah, he hasn't done much.
I like Owen Wilson, but
yeah, he was
in The Internship, remember, the Google movie?
Yeah, and I feel like he does like an art movie like once a year where he's acting now. Anyways, Wonder Woman, holding strong in second place, $40 million. All Eyes on Me, the Tupac biopic, $27 million. The Mummy, $13 million. And Rough Night had a rough weekend, $9 million. For our cast, that was stacked. Indeed. So, what do you take away from these results from the weekend? Pixar is just unstoppable?
No, not necessarily. They were the big new release going out. Animated movies always do well in the summer. There hadn't been one in a while, so I don't think Cars' success is any indictment on Pixar per se. It's just those movies are really popular with kids. I think they generated $10 million in merchandise, or was it 10 billion? Tons of toy sales basically for the Cars franchise the past 12 years. So I don't think that's really a surprise. They have an appeal with the kids. Mummy was in second week, Wonder Woman's third week.
Right.
So Mummy dropping off pretty quick, given the bad reviews, but doing well overseas. But
Wonder Woman not dropping off quick.
Yeah, only 45% drop going to the second weekend, like only like 30, I think, going into the third weekend. So that's insane. Really good.
I've seen on my own personal social media feed a lot of people going to see it the second time, and some people even going for a third time, and even women are continuing to go, which is awesome, because I think that was one of the fears was a female superhero, will it be able to hold a base like that? I mean, not only get the results at first, but then hold it, and it seems like it's doing really well, which is awesome for DC. Like we already talked about, though.
Exactly.
All Eyes on Me, I think, had a pretty good weekend, considering I didn't see a ton of promotion for this movie.
Yeah, honestly, the only things I've heard positive about it really are that it's a good Tupac impersonation, like good portrayal of Tupac the character, but the movie kind of plays out like you're reading his Wikipedia. Right. So. And
I also hear it leaves out some of the more important moments, which, I mean, I'd have to see to really verify, but...
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like a see it later movie. It's not nearly on the par of Straight Outta Compton, for example.
Right. How about Rough Night, though? I mean, $9 million?
I thought there was at least some buzz around it, because thinking about the weekend, it's not going up against anything in that lane this weekend. The Mummy, Wonder Woman, Cars, and Rough Night. Like I feel like the adult 18 to 49 demo.
Yeah, it only has a 49 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is actually better than I was expecting.
It's better than The Mummy.
Really? What does The Mummy have?
No, it was just low. I forget. But yeah, Rough Night, and we talked about it before we did our summer preview episodes. How about Nostalgia Pod?
Mummy only has a 16%. Oof.
But yeah, I mean, for a comedy, doing 50-50, it's not terrible, but
only making $9 million.
And again, there is really just no buzz. I thought there was some early, but there really wasn't. And
this is
kind of crazy how much of a flop it is given the star power.
Yeah, we talk about how like movies like Tyler Perry movies come out every summer, and they're basically the same thing, and there's always like a lane for these certain ones. And this is like the female comedy lane that Bridesmaids really has carved out for the summer movies, I feel like.
This is actually also a really important movie because this is the first R-rated comedy directed by a woman in like 20 years.
Really?
Insane. Right?
Wow.
Like Bridesmaids, that's Paul Feig,
right.
This guy.
But when you get
the fact that didn't do well is kind of sucks.
Yeah, when you get Scarlett Johansson, Kate McKinnon, Zoe Kravitz, and Alana Glazer, and Jillian Bell too, who's no slouch in there.
Ty Burrell's in there.
Yeah, I mean you need Demi Moore too apparently. Yep. So you really need to make more than $9 million. That's a huge hit for.
That's worse than Neighbors 2, significantly worse. That's worse than Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. It's worse than Baywatch. So.
Rough Night.
Yeah. Sucks. Whatever.
Probably not gonna see it.
No.
Probably
yeah. Like when everyone's saying that it's not that funny, like how'd you make this movie if it wasn't that funny? I don't understand. Whatever.
I guess maybe just the big names drove it through. Who knows? Anyway, some more optimistic. Well, I guess maybe not that optimistic. Transformers is on the horizon.
I'll make some money.
Yeah, I mean that will probably overtake Cars. I'm guessing.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think it will make over 100 million?
I haven't looked at tracking, so this is totally me guessing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say.
I don't think.
I'm gonna say no.
I don't think it does.
No, not here domestically. No.
Right. Oh, well, over in China, it will probably make.
Of course.
$100 billion, but in the United States, I don't see it, and I feel like people are already kind of tired of Transformers.
Especially this one, which doesn't make sense in the trailers.
No.
Even like the guy.
Yeah. It's Anthony Hopkins doing a Westworld impersonation while Mark Wahlberg just runs around. That's basically the whole trailer.
Even the I don't know female lead, who's a new one.
Right.
Cycling through at this point.
It's terrible. Some more optimistic news than even that. Dave, you nailed your XXL Freshman picks. I mean, what you got? 60%, right?
I got 6 out of 10.
It's really good.
If you take away the fan vote, I got 6 out of 9.
Oh, so you got 6 out of 9. Correct.
Hey, next week, episode 69.
Nice. Tune in for that.
So the fan vote was XXX Tentacion. We talked about him. He has that song "Look at Me." That was a song that Drake was accused of stealing the flow from for KMT on More Life. We've been through this. He's the guy who has beef with Rob Stone. I brought this up. I personally picked Rob Stone because I think he's a way better artist. But X has like 2.2 million Instagram followers. He's way,
and they weren't going to pick both of them, right?
Notorious. And definitely weren't going to pick both of them. And the fan vote got X in there. So, looking back, that was probably the smarter call because he's just more popular. So, but I did at least acknowledge it. But the three that I didn't get right were guys I didn't even mention: PNB Rock, Cap G, and Ugly God.
Ugly God.
Ugly God's a SoundCloud rapper. Cap G is this Hispanic kind of rap sung guy, and PNB Rock is kind of he's kind of like Drizzy, you know, rap sing as well. Every Day We Lit is his big song. But the ones I got right: Kamaya, A Boogie, Amine, Kyle, Playboy Cardi, and Main Tokyo.
Nice job.
I thought
man.
those were all pretty easy ones.
I think you did a little bit better last year, though.
I really don't remember. Well, last year was also so slam dunk. There were no surprises
right.
in last year's, except for like Dave East.
Which,
you know, Uzi, Kodak, Yachty.
Right. You knew it.
Little Dicky, Designer.
Right.
We knew all those ones were coming. So.
Yeah. I actually knew those people last year. I don't know any, especially those other guys.
You know Cardi.
Rock.
Even Jay-Z knows Cardi.
Yeah. Which, why don't you talk about Jay-Z a little bit?
Incredible.
He won an award this weekend, right? He went a little crazy on Twitter.
First rapper inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Which, does he really deserve to be the first one?
No.
No.
No, he doesn't.
No. I mean, Tupac Changes is a much more meaningful and deep song than anything that Jay-Z has ever written.
Anyway, check out Jay-Z's Twitter rant if you're interested in that. He mentions Playboy Cardi, which is hilarious. But more importantly, this whole tease for 444, what is it, has finally come to a conclusion. We know what it is, Pat. What is it?
It's going to be Jay-Z's next album, Dave, coming out exclusively on Tidal on June 30th, and that's lame as fuck, because who the hell has Tidal? And who's going to listen to this album when it comes out? I'm not even really that interested in it, to be honest.
So, I've said this years ago. This is not a hot take, this is just fact. Jay-Z has more bad albums than good albums.
Right, he just is prolific.
And now he's 47. Why do you think this is going to be a good album?
What is he going to talk about?
Magna Carta wasn't a good album, and that was 4 years ago.
What's he going to talk about? Basically how Beyonce showed him up after he cheated on her?
He's going to talk about the same kind of things he used to occasionally reply to people on Twitter about. When Magna Carta production was coming out, and he was like on the couch with Rick Rubin and Pharrell and Swizz Beatz and all those videos.
Right.
Everyone's like, oh shit, all these really smart musical geniuses. What's good? This album, whoa man. Mm-hmm. And then someone made fun of him, and he's like, you know, I don't know if Rick Rubin's still there. I haven't been in that house in a while, or been in that room in a while. You know, it's just a roundabout way of Jay-Z saying, I got a big ass house, because that's all he can talk about now is how rich he is, because he's so separated from what it's like to be a normal person, because he's been a multimillionaire for 15 years.
Yeah, a long time. Did you see the video of him and Kevin Hart on Twitter where they were at the NBA Finals game and they were taking a picture together, and they were basically Jay-Z said to whoever's taking the picture, like, take a picture while we're laughing. So then they were both just fake laughing the whole time. That's Jay-Z's life all the time now. Nothing is real in it anymore. I mean, he just had twins. There's that conspiracy that the first pregnancy wasn't even a real pregnancy with Beyonce. There's a lot of shenanigans. I don't even think that's been released yet.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know.
I hadn't seen it, so I wasn't sure if I missed it.
Let's see. Beyonce twins names. Let's see. Beyonce and Jay-Z welcome twins. Gave birth to twins. Did she have a boy and a girl, and what baby?
All right, never mind.
Yeah, no one seems to know anything about this.
I mean, it's funny. Jay-Z's last album, Magna Carta, Holy Grail, that was released in association with Samsung. So anyone with a Samsung Galaxy S3 at the time got the album for free on their phone. Which was me, so I did get the album for free. But now it's just association with Sprint and Tidal, so I'm not sure. It's going to be Tidal exclusive, and Tidal is far lagging in terms of subscribers behind Apple Music and Spotify. So everyone's going to download it illegally.
Right.
It's just like happened with Life of Pablo when it first released only on Tidal.
Yeah. By the way, boy and a girl, and no names yet.
No names.
As of recording, so.
No name. That's someone I want on an XXL, but way too niche of a pick. So.
We all know how much people like when people just get albums on their phones. Which
like Songs of Innocence.
Yeah.
That stellar U2 record.
Which actually, recently, I had a very funny conversation with a adult about. And they were like, how do I get this album off my phone? And I was like, first of all, what year are you in? And I was like, this is 2 years old.
There was a whole URL Apple had to promote about taking the album off.
But not only that, but then they said, you know what my least favorite part about this album is? I said, what? They said the cover. I said, why? They're like, it's too provocative for me. And it's a man holding another man's waist. And I was like, I really just went back like 10 years talking to this person.
Wow.
It was quite the conversation. So Hopefully they're not a listener. Don't want to blow their spot up, but it was something.
Give us a review if it's in fact you.
Yeah, please do. Also, another album that was announced September 1st, LCD Soundsystem's fourth studio album, American Dream.
What is the American Dream? Is it misleading all your fans that you broke up and then coming back to make lots of money? Because I think that's the American Dream.
It might be. LCD Soundsystem
Trumpism.
also announced that this is the last album that will be recorded at the old DFA Record Studio, which is pretty cool. And they announced a world tour. So, Dave, what do you think about LCD Soundsystem's fourth album coming out? And the last at the DFA album studio.
Sounds cool, man.
That's like a historic place at this point.
So historic, brah. Yeah, that's cool, whatever. Everyone likes LCD Soundsystem.
Whatever.
September 1st is so far away.
Yeah, I know. But, yeah, and the
Nothing
show
gets
is
announced that far in advance musically anymore.
literally, so I'm buying tickets for the shows this Friday, and I'm not going to go see the show for almost 6 months after I buy the ticket.
Is it next year?
No, it's December. It's in December.
Wow.
So they start touring right after the album drops.
You'll be able to you could be able to buy tickets for next year if you want, right? When the tour goes on sale.
Tour ends in December.
Oh, it's that fast?
Yeah, it's happening September through December. And
what kind of world tour is this?
They're doing only like 8 shows over in Europe. So
yeah, world.
Yeah. Well, they're doing like the major places like London, Warsaw, Paris.
Right.
You know, like the major ones. So that'll be interesting. But talk to me about Vince Staples. So I know that you really like Vince Staples. You really like his song on the Gorillaz album.
Was that in Andromeda?
One. I don't think it was.
One of those.
Yeah, it was something like that.
It was one. I don't know. Gorillaz Humans. We weren't big fans of that album. You can check our review. Soundcloud.com/Nowstalgia Pod and on YouTube.
But this is his third album coming out?
Second
album coming out.
He had
an
EP come out last summer.
And what are your expectations for it?
Yeah, Big Fish Theory, his second album. I'm really excited for it because Vince Staples, despite being because he's a woke Compton youth, a la Kendrick Lamar, he's got some shit to say, and he's always been a really lyrical rapper, despite still being very authentic to his street roots.
Okay.
So he has a very unique sound, and I think that's what's so cool about the West Coast is that you have someone like YG coming out of Compton and making this 90s G-Funk sound that sounds very retro.
Right.
And then you have guys like Schoolboy Q, which is just kind of like contemporary gangster rap.
Yeah.
And we have Kendrick going,
very thoughtful.
Super worldviewy, right? And Vince Staples is kind of in the middle there where he's talking about, grander themes but still kind of bringing it back to Compton and his West Coast upbringing. And I'm really excited for it because he's kind of really developed a really cool personality ever since he kind of
he's funny,
hit it off. He's funny,
witty.
He's not afraid to say stuff. Like
he's like dry humor though.
He is, yeah. That's what's so cool about him. You watch any interviews, like you understand, like Vince Staples is a smart guy and he understands like how the music game works,
right.
And he just has fun with it. But he got some notoriety when he said the 90s hip hop is overrated. But that was the clickbaity headline. But then he got into it. It's like, yeah, the 90s are overrated to me because I didn't come up on the 90s. My first favorite rapper was 50 Cent because I came up in the mid 2000s. So he's kind of putting it in perspective for millennials, where you can kind of understand where Yachty's head is at when he says Biggie's overrated. He's like, for me personally, I haven't listened to Biggie for a long ass time, and Vince Staples is kind of more eloquently representing that idea.
It's like when Chance talks about how like Lil Wayne was like, or Kendrick talks about how Lil Wayne was such a big influence. Like, yeah, they definitely appreciate the
It is downpouring at the studio.
Yeah.
I apologize for the audio.
How they appreciate the 90s rap, but at the same time, like, their influences are Ludacris, 50 Cent, like, people that are way more in their sphere growing up. So.
Right.
What about Action Bronson, though? I saw he dropped a record or a single. Wasn't able to listen to it, but...
Let Me Breathe is the name of the song. Recently announced new project, Blue Chips 7000. Blue Chips 1 and 2 are two of his mixtapes. So, it's not entirely sure if this is a studio album or a commercial mixtape or what, but it'll be on Atlantic, so it'll cost money. So
why did he name it 7,000? He went 1, 2, then 7,000.
I don't know. The way he explained his album quote was, "It's U2 on steroids,"
So Blue Chips 2 to Blue Chip 7000, you know, he adds some HGH to the
he's
diet.
going to the future, I guess.
So,
futuristic U2 sound.
And we haven't heard from Action since Mr. Wonderful, which was 2015, summer 2015.
I saw him.
So it's been a while.
I saw him playing that album live at Governor's Ball. He's very good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed him a lot.
And Action also is a
Will he have a song with Chance on this?
like Baby Blue.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Yeah, I'd really hope so. That's one of his best.
He's
songs.
refreshing though because he has a really retro sound. I mean,
Yeah.
he always was compared to sounding just like Ghostface Killah, and from Wu-Tang Clan, and it makes a lot of sense. He reps Queens, but he's a Albanian fella.
Right.
He used to be a chef. Really funny personalities.
Yeah.
There used to be a thing of he would throw kids off of his stage. But then he stopped doing it because kids started running up on him on purpose because they wanted to get thrown, and he's like, I can't have this happening anymore.
Right.
But yeah, he's a funny guy. So I'm excited for him because, again, very unique.
Yeah, he's got the whole aliens thing and like getting high and talking about that
right.
stuff.
And again, we've talked about how diverse hip-hop is today, and Vince Staples and Action Bronson coming out within a few months of each other. You know, there it is right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jay-Z right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
So we'll probably be talking more about Vince Staples and Action Bronson than Jay-Z at this point, most likely.
Also want to shout out Pretty Girls Like Trap Music. 2 Chainz's 4th album came out last Friday, and it is really good.
I heard it was fire.
Like,
I mean, I was on vacation last week, so I didn't get a chance to listen, but...
I was listening to this thing, I'm like, wow, this reminds me of how I felt when I listened to Trap Lord by A$AP Ferg. It's like, this has no right to be this good. My favorite song is 4 AM by Travis Scott. That's a banger. But I think most of the good songs are actually the ones without features, or it's just Mr. Chainz. But,
Dos Cadenas, Mr. Chainz.
You got Migos on there, you got Sway Lee on there, you got Nicki Minaj on there, Travis. So yeah, that's good. Big Boy also released a solo album, first one since 2012. That's pretty nice. Killer Mike's on like 3 songs.
Oh, awesome.
And then Young Thug actually released his debut studio album, which again is ridiculous because he's had so many influential projects.
Right.
Beautiful Thugger Girls.
Interesting.
Because Barter 6 and Slime Season 3 and My Name is Jeffrey, all these really hot Thug projects, they weren't albums.
Right.
So,
just mentioning albums that came out. Fleet Foxes released their first album, I think, in 4 or 5 years. And it's gotten good reviews so far. So I'll definitely check that out and report back eventually. And also, really excited for Arcade Fire's album. They released a second single, another very good song. So
the hype has increased.
Yes, LCD Soundsystem, Arcade Fire, Fleet Foxes, Rock is back, baby.
So
we're gonna have to go record another rock pod in 2 months.
Last week we reviewed Phoenix, we reviewed Alt J, reviewed Bleachers, right? We also reviewed Bryson Tiller. Bryson Tiller is on a song with DJ Khaled and Rihanna. This came out a few days ago called Wild Thoughts. Yeah. And Bryson Tiller is more lively and more energetic on this fucking feature than he is on any of his songs on his album that just came out. That is so annoying.
So he must have just been trying to go for that, like...
He had to have been.
Which is just disappointing.
He wanted to put everyone to sleep. So, that's annoying. But.
Someone that didn't put me to sleep, Melodrama, Lorde.
Hell yeah.
What a fucking follow-up album.
Whoa. Is this the best pop album since Frank Ocean about a year ago? Definitely the most thoughtful. I think the most lyrical.
It's interesting.
Because this ain't no Katy Perry Witness, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and it's no Kingdom Hearts, whatever.
Halsey
named herself.
Yeah, whatever.
Dark Fountain or something like that.
Hopeless Fountain Kingdom. I think
that's what it is. Katy Perry was number 1 for album streams, I believe.
Halsey was number 1, then Katy Perry's number 1. Lorde will be number 1. That'll be 3 women top in the Billboard 200.
This is by far
back to back
the best album out of the 3.
Definitely. Definitely.
Thinking about just pure pop. I mean, I guess it would depend on like categories you put certain albums, but yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorite albums of the year for sure.
Yeah, and it's 100% a breakup album, but this isn't like the breakup album you think of when you listen to Taylor Swift. You know,
right.
This isn't like
it's
all these
broken heart all the time.
Right.
It's about growing, which is a really, I think, important like standpoint. And
because she's in her 20s now,
right,
and like it shows that like it's kind of the evolution of how Lorde thinks about things,
right,
and it's because she's really introverted.
After I read through, or after I listen through one time, I like to go and read some reviews just to kind of see like what people are saying about it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of Pitchfork's review, they said it's hard to believe that this is Lorde's first time being a teenager because she's so good at describing it. Like she can like talk about it and talk about like growing pains and all that in such a beautiful and like elegant way that like most people who are even in like older can't really describe. And even like the way that this is written, I know we talked about Jack Antonoff producing this, and she had her original producer as well. You can really hear how she takes the way she says things, or her cadence on things, or even how she sings certain songs or certain parts of songs to create meaning that is so unique to a pop star, which is really how you have to categorize.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is despite all the new people she's worked with, and despite growing up a lot, and obviously being in a much more different place now as a incredibly successful young woman, she didn't compromise her artistry at all.
No,
and I think that's so refreshing for a major pop star these days. And the fact that it's such a lyrical album, and the singles actually really flow in the record, which was not something you would have expected when you listen to singles when they were just the singles, because they didn't seem to make sense together.
Yeah, that was actually something we were talking about off air originally, but the singles, I mean, they all sounded pretty good, but when thinking about how you make a cohesive record with something like Greenlight and then Liability, it's like, okay, those songs are two different ends of the spectrum. One's an anthem, one's a very like meaningful, deep song. She was really able to make it flow, and I think the production on this was just phenomenal. The sound was phenomenal, and like I was saying before, Jack Antonoff's presence on this is very apparent, because if you listen to Bleachers, Gone Now, and then you listen to Melodrama back to back, you would hear a lot of the same types of switch ups and just like background noises, things like that.
But it makes sense for Lorde still, which I think is what makes it so great.
Yeah, because even in a sense, Gone Now is also a song about, or a record about moving on, but just for a different part of life, which is still in the same kind of vein as Bleachers, which is or Melodrama. When you think about pop stars, where does Lorde fall in like the tiers? Because you have people like you have people like Katy Perry. You have people. You need a pen?
Yeah, I was thinking about something before.
You have people like Katy Perry, who puts out an album, no matter how good it is, it's going to be number one. Halsey's reaching that level now.
You had Selena Gomez,
Selena Gomez is up there. Ariana
she has
Grande.
the most Instagram followers of anyone in the world.
No, Katy Perry has the most.
She has the most Twitter followers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Selena has Instagram.
Interesting.
Which is Selena Gomez is really unique because she's pretty young. I think she's like our age, she's like 24 or something, 25. But she has a very young fan base and a very big fan base that have been with her for a while.
Those Disney days, bro.
And then I think Demi Lovato is kind of in that same lane.
And Beyonce's obviously at the top.
Right.
Like Beyonce drops an album, the world stops.
I mean,
Lady Gaga drops an album, the world stops.
Adele
drops an album, the world stops. So it's like...
And Taylor. Those are probably the top four.
Yeah, you have those four, and then there's a second tier. So is Lorde in that second tier yet? Is she in like a third tier, rising?
See, I don't...
It's a second album.
The sales for this are like 80-ish, I think, which is very good, obviously, but that's not Halsey, that's not Bryson Tiller, So I think because she's still this introverted, lyrical pop music,
she's weird.
that still is mainstream, it is a niche appeal.
Right.
And like a song like Greenlight has only modestly charted, and I don't think anything else is going to chart any better than that. Right. So I think it's tough to put her in a high tier because of that reason.
Yeah, I mean, when I was thinking about it, I think she does fall in like that third tier probably. But I think the thing that will help her longevity is the fact that she is weird and she embraces that and can really make artistic albums that, even though it's a pop album, this doesn't lack for substance at all.
No. Which
a lot of pop albums do, because they're just trying to go for things that people can sing and people can play in their car at a party and relate to.
Yeah, and I think one of the best things Lorde has going for her is that she doesn't... I think she has proven thus far with her first two records, and again, this can certainly change, she's only like 20 years old, but that she doesn't need to rely on these, mainstream songwriters like a Max Martin to produce her hits, or like a Dr. Luke or something. And I think even Max Martin told her she was making pop music wrong if she wanted to play for the radio, which I guess is kind of true, even though Royals was the number one song. But you just think about how this relates to Katy Perry, who we talked about last week. No Dr. Luke help this time around. She set out to be more ambitious in her record, but it really kind of falls flat. There's some, there's some decent high points on it, but overall, a lot of the conversation, whether it's warranted or not, is what does Katy Perry actually bring to the table besides someone who's just really good at singing the songs you write for her,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, and I guess if you have to think about, like it's right around NBA draft time, so you're seeing a lot of like, what's this person's ceiling right now? if you're in our sphere, like pop culture, sports sphere, her ceiling is Lady Gaga. Like she fits that like weird like niche.
This is Lorde, you mean?
Yeah, Lorde.
Right.
That her ceiling is Lady Gaga. She's never gonna be like a Taylor Swift where she puts out an album and every song could be an anthem people are singing. I don't think, because she's just not that type of artist.
Mm-hmm.
But she can definitely make albums that you look back on and say, "Wow." I mean, like The Fame or The Fame Monster, both albums that are fantastic.
Perfect pop album.
And Lorde is, I mean, I wouldn't say either one of her albums has been perfect, but she's going to make one day that will be considered perfect.
Very unique.
It's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait for that.
Oh yeah, for context, Katy Perry, 66 million Instagram followers. Selena Gomez, 122 Instagram followers. And like you're trying to think of someone else who's really big. Kylie Jenner, she's probably like what, 80 million?
Does Kim Kardashian have
95 million.
What is
Kylie's ahead of Kim.
Really?
Which is insane, isn't it?
I always remember Kim Kardashian.
Oh, sorry, no, she isn't. She's catching up though. Kim is 101.
Gotcha. Man, 126 million.
Yeah.
I can't imagine 126 million people ever seeing anything I do. That's crazy.
Bieber, 88.
Except for hopefully listening to this podcast. If you share us, soundcloud.com/nostalgiapod,
Yeah.
Twitter @nostalgiapod, go to YouTube, subscribe, share us. Make us big. We want to have all those followers. What songs off this?
We'll never be royals, but please share us.
That was good. That was nice. What songs off this would you say are must listens if you don't want to check out the whole album?
I think I have a better appreciation for this now that I hear it after listening to the rest of the album. Perfect Places, the last song, I think is awesome.
Really good.
I believe that was her second to last song she performed. Or no. When I saw Govball, it was one of her last songs.
Oh, when you saw it live. How many of these songs did she play?
She only played the singles. She played Green Light, Perfect Places, Liability.
Okay, gotcha.
And then all of it was pure heroin.
Liability must have been kind of like a slow, like whatever.
Right. Perfect Places and Green Light, I think, are the two biggest hits, but the Louvre is getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah, the Louvre. They're going to hang us in the back of the Louvre. It's the back, but it's the Louvre, so no big deal. I thought Hard Feeling, Loveless was a really, really well done song. I could have done without Loveless being attached to it as much, but Hard Feeling I thought was a song that really went. And Supercut I really liked a lot. It really stood out to me. Some interesting writing in both of those.
Yeah, and right. Interesting writing, unique perspective, and there's just so much more to dig into on Melodrama than there is on Hopeless Found, Kingdom, or Witness.
Right. Yeah, and even just like the way that you said this before, the way the songs move together, it's almost like a rising and a crashing, which I think fits so much for like those growing pains of someone going from 16, 17, 18 to their early 20s. Like you're gonna have those really high highs where things just are very exciting, fun, life is hitting you all at once and it's amazing, and then life's gonna hit you all at once, it's gonna feel like shit and you're just like, fuck, like I'm at my lowest point right now. And that's what really how this album sounds. It's very up and down, a lot of swelling, falling. It's cool.
Yeah.
Definitely a great album. Check out Melodrama. Definitely probably, I'd say out of all the albums we reviewed the last 2 weeks, my favorite one.
It's probably one of the best of the year already.
Yeah.
You know?
Damn.
Well, I say, besides Damn, is there anything better? Nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
Nothing that's as widely appreciated.
Right. Like, obviously I love Culture by Amigos, but I can't say it's a better album than this.
Yeah. Passion Fruit wasn't consistent enough all the way through, and there's so
You
many
mean More
songs.
Life?
Yeah, sorry. More Life. Basically, I've just been listening to Passion
That's a
Fruit
playlist,
lot. Yes.
low expectations.
Right, exactly. So
All American Badass by Joey Badass. I still want to stump
do
for that.
live. Yeah, and I really like TMO still. I'm listening to that a lot, but I don't know if it would be on this level. This is some other shit.
Good shit.
Absolutely.
So we got Vince Staples Friday. We got Haim next month. We got Jay-Z the end of this month.
Exciting.
Action Bronson probably in July.
Then LCD Soundsystem.
That's in September.
And hopefully catching up on Twin Peaks somewhere in between there.
Yeah.
If culture will slow down just a little bit.
Yeah. We'll have our Game of Thrones episode up in a few weeks. That's still pretty far away. Got 3 weeks till then.
Yeah, check out Binge Mode.
It's really good.
I listened to a couple of them and they're it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
So really enjoyable.
They're really good what they do.
Podcast from The Ringer. So yeah, Melly Rubin and Jason Concepcion are so fucking good at that. It's ridiculous.
There's a few times I was listening to that, and I actually like burst out laughing when he was doing Grand Maester Pycelle, and he was like, yes, titles. So perfect.
All right, well, we're going to wrap up. Like I said, share us, soundcloud.com/nostalgiapod if you want to catch up on older podcasts, and just follow us on all social media, at Martin Swagger, at Sheedy World Peace. We want to communicate with you. Tell us what you're listening to.
Watch those XXL Freshmen freestyles. Some of them will be really bad, and you'll be entertained.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting.
Fuck X, he sucks.
PNB Rock.
Every day we live.
What the fuck is that? Anyways, see you next week.